He killed his baby and he's in the house.
Okay, you said that he told you he killed his baby? Okay, ma'am, listen to me. What's your name?
Welcome to Tried and True Crime, where we share and unravel mysteries behind the most baffling crime cases. Today, we're going to uncover the most chilling case you've ever heard. From the joyous cheers of champagne glasses at a reunion to the soul-crushing silence of 3 freshly dug graves, the Platel family story was a descent into madness, fueled by a forbidden love that curdled into unthinkable horror. In 1995, 20-year-old Stephen Platel and 15-year-old Alyssa crossed paths through online chat. Their virtual connection grew into a real-life romance, despite the age gap and the limitations of dial-up internet. Soon, Alyssa found herself pregnant. Happily, they named their daughter Denise, a symbol of their whirlwind online love story. Life, however, wasn't a fairy tale for Alyssa, as she was set for a roller coaster. She shared the heartbreaking decision they made to give up Denise for adoption when she was just 8 months old. Poverty and worries about Stephen's alleged physical abuse of the baby weighed heavily on their young hearts. Though Alyssa remained tight-lipped about the specifics, her voice trembled as she recounted the sacrifice. She said, "It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I knew Denise deserved a safe and happy life." Alyssa Platel, barely past her teenage years, recounted the saga of her sadistic ex-husband's abuse. Her voice trembled as she described how he would mercilessly pinch their infant daughter, who would later be named Katie, until her tiny body was a canvas of bruises. Fear turned to terror as Platel, consumed by his cruelty, resorted to unspeakable acts. He would stuff Katie into a cooler, muffling her cries in the cold darkness. This always leaves Alyssa helpless to listen to her daughter's muffled whimpers until she would nearly suffocate. She was trapped in a web of isolation and fear. Alyssa, just 17 years old, is now faced with an agonizing choice. Her family had been caught off by Platel's manipulation, and they offered no refuge. However, the thought of her daughter enduring another moment of torture was too unbearable. With a heavy heart, she made the toughest decision of her life: to send Katie away, as far from Platel's reach as possible. Thankfully, Denise, who was renamed Katie, found a loving home with Tony and Kelly Fusco in Dover, New York. They showered her with affection and raised her alongside their biological daughter. For a while, Katie basked in the warmth of a normal family life, unaware of the dark side of her past. Haunted by loss and regret, Alyssa found herself trapped in a living nightmare. However, Platel's cruelty persisted. He transformed their home into a house of horrors, as Alyssa later described it. In 2006, perhaps seeking some pretense of normalcy or fearing escalation, they married. 2 more daughters, now 8 and 12, joined their family, their lives rooted in Henrico, a seemingly ordinary suburb near Richmond, Virginia. Alyssa later stated with her voice heavy with past fear, "He held an unthinkable threat over me. If I left, he wouldn't just disappear. He would orchestrate a horrifying end, taking his own life with a gun, recording it all, and making sure the video reached me." Years passed, yet the shadow of Platel's temper loomed. The marriage struggled under the weight of his inconsistency and unpredictable rage. Alyssa kept juggling multiple jobs to shoulder the family's financial burden, while Platel's attempts to hold down a steady income proved unattainable. Despite owning several legally acquired guns, including the assault rifle that would later shatter their lives, Alyssa harbored a glimmer of hope for change. She noticed a difference in his interactions with their younger daughters compared to the torments that Katie had to endure. However, the underlying volatility remained. Platel's anger would erupt in unpredictable bursts, manifesting by throwing furniture and punching walls. One incident etched itself into Alyssa's memory. A stray cat wandering into the garage triggered a brutal display of violence. "He just beat it to death," Alyssa whispered, her voice laced with horror, "just because he didn't like cats." The incident, recounted with a shudder, painted a stark picture of the darkness that could consume him. The echoes of the Plattles' story would soon resurface, which cast a long shadow over Katie's journey. This is where the tale takes a turn, leading us down a path of unresolved questions and tragic choices. Katie Fusco was a well of creativity and kindness. She was affectionately nicknamed Pac-Man by her brother Carrie for her ever-hungry spirit and unwavering affection for animals. Katie was a vegetarian to the core. Dover High School knew her as the comic strip queen. Her ink creations danced with wit and wonder, hinting at dreams far bigger than textbooks. Then, at 18, a life-changing truth landed like a bombshell. Carrie revealed Katie's adoption, which set her heart on a quest to find her birth parents. Joy erupted the day she met the Plattles. This was a reunion painted with hope and second chances, but something crept beneath the surface. College, which was once a big dream, was put on hold. Instead, Katie chose to live with the Plattles in Virginia. Tony and Kelly Fusco, while a tad apprehensive, trusted their daughter's judgment. Katie was now an adult, and she was ready to make her own choices. Little did they know that the Plattle house had fallen apart. Stephen and Alyssa slept in separate rooms due to a big atmosphere of emotional abuse hanging heavy in the air. Before moving in with Stephen Plattle and his wife in August 2016, Katie, still known as Katie Fusco, had no idea about Stephen's explosive temper, the disturbing pattern of abuse in his past, or the 4 guns he kept hidden away. Alyssa confided in Katie, with a voice trembling. She spoke of years of Stephen's cruelty. This was the truth which had driven her to give Katie up for adoption. Anything to keep her safe. Alyssa Plattle noticed a dramatic shift in her husband Stephen's behavior after Katie, his biological daughter, returned home. He started wearing trendy clothes, shaved his beard, and grew his hair, which was a contrast to his usual attire. Alarm bells truly rang when Stephen started sleeping on Katie's floor for 2 nights in a row. When confronted, he brushed it off and left with Katie. Alyssa eventually left in November 2016, while sharing custody of their children with Stephen. But in May 2017, a strange discovery in their daughter's diary revealed a disturbing reality. Here's a more readable version of the provided text. In May 2017, Alyssa's world shattered when she found a shocking entry in one of her children's journals. It revealed a deeply disturbing truth. Her husband, Stephen, was not only romantically involved with their daughter Katie, but she was pregnant and expecting a child. This revelation was even more disturbing, as he even told Katie's sister to refer to Katie as her stepmother. Alyssa, understandably disturbed, confronted Stephen. He admitted both the romantic relationship and Katie's pregnancy, leaving her to wrestle with the complex web of deceit and betrayal. This shocking news led to a frantic confrontation with Stephen and a call to the police. Stephen admitted to being in love with Katie, and despite ongoing investigation, Stephen and Katie married in July 2017, deceitfully keeping their true identity hidden. Even Katie's adoptive parents, Tony and Kelly Fusco, supported their decision by attending the wedding, posing for a photo, and choosing love over judgment. However, happiness was momentary. Katie gave birth to a son, Bennett, but they moved to Knightdale, North Carolina, only to face arrest for incest in January 2018. A judge mandated their separation and placed Bennett in Stephen's mother's care. Despite his lawyer's claims of a consensual relationship, the weight of their forbidden love was evident. Katie found refuge with her foster parents, Tony and Kelly, but on April 12, 2018, tragedy struck. As Katie and Tony left for a visit, Stephen followed, and he unleashed a torrent of violence. Witnesses in New Milford reported gunfire, and the news soon confirmed the unthinkable. Katie and Tony were dead. Stephen was later found with a gunshot wound, and he took his own life in the process shortly after. According to a redacted 911 transcript, Stephen's mother reached out to authorities in a state of frantic disbelief. "My son, he's barely holding it together," she revealed, explaining how his recent breakup with Katie who is just 20, had plunged him into despair. This harrowing tale shattered Alyssa Plytle, leaving her grappling with grief. Yet from the ashes of this tragedy, she hopes to raise awareness about incest, preventing such devastation from ever repeating. The Plytle tragedy is not just a distant news story, it's a wake-up call. It compels us to listen to the voices of the silenced, to recognize the signs of abuse, and to create safe spaces where victims can speak their truth without fear. Let their story not be in vain, but a catalyst for change, a reminder that we all have a role to play in preventing unthinkable tragedies and forging a brighter future. If this haunting tale intrigued you, please like and subscribe for more tragic tales from Tried and True Crime.